Once, there was a king. That king has grown old with the passage of time. He gradually became weak. The king realized that his days were over. His thought is that the only daughter is not yet married. The princess is beautiful, she is of marriageable age. Many have already proposed to marry her. But the sultan has not found her suitable groom. One day, the sultan called his daughter and said, "Mother, now I will marry you." The princess said, "But how do you choose a groom?" The king said, "I have no son. Your husband will be the king of my kingdom. I will give you in marriage to the one who can rule the kingdom well and nurture the people." The princess said, "But how do you choose a suitable groom?" Sultan said, "I will make that arrangement." Among those who had previously come for the princess's wedding, the sultan had chosen 3 of them as suitable grooms. One day, he sent a messenger and called 3 young men. Brought to king's palace. All 3 young men were brave and heroic in their age. All 3 were handsome in appearance and polite in manner and speech.
The princess could not understand how she could choose one of these 3 as her husband. So, she left the burden of groom selection on her father. When 3 princes appeared, the sultan said, "I have called you because I want to marry my daughter now." The 3 young men bowed with a smile. Sultan said, "You 3 are fit to rule my kingdom. You can become king in future. But my daughter must be entrusted to one of you. So, I made a plan to choose one of you 3. Today is full moon. Today, I want to send you on a trip to the country for a month. Exactly 1 month from today, on the full moon, you will return after the tour. In the king's palace, each of you will bring the most precious gift you deem fit for the princess. You will be judged by the quality of that gift." The 3 princes were hopeful and left for the country tour that day. A month passed in the blink of an eye. As soon as the moon rose in the evening sky, the arrival of the princes was announced at the gate of the sultan's palace. All palaces are decorated with lights and flowers. The sultan first called Prince Khalid and said, "What gift have you brought for my daughter?" Prince Khalid knelt down and took out many valuables from a large bag. Then said to the sultan, "These are the most expensive diamonds, pearls, emeralds and bangles. These have been selected by visiting different countries. I want to make a crown, necklace, bangles and rings for the princess." Princess Jahanara bowed her head happily, with a smile. But the sultan said nothing. Now, the sultan called another young man and said, "Have you brought a gift?" Jubair said, "I have brought a gun. It is a powerful weapon. People die easily and flawlessly with these weapons. If this weapon is near, no enemy from outside will fear to enter the 3 borders of your kingdom. You can also conquer many countries by it. You can become the most powerful and victorious king of the world." Hearing the words of Jubair, the princess trembled with fear. Sultan sighed silently, but the faces of those present in the royal assembly brightened. This time, the 3rd young man, Sabit, was called by the sultan. Sabit stood empty-handed in front of the king with a shamefaced face. He said, "Sorry Sultan, I could not bring any gift for the princess." The king was surprised and said, "What is he? Didn't bring any gifts?" The young man said, "I see a smiling passerby on my way out of your palace." Blood was pouring from his body. All parts were bruised. I couldn't leave after seeing it. I nursed his services. After a day or 2, when he recovered, I started walking again. But after going some distance, I saw a group of women and children running away from the village in a state of fear. On asking the reason, I learned that a group of pirates had come up the river and plundered their village, killed most of the men in the village, taken away all their wealth, and threatened to come again. I explained them and took them back to the village. I saw that the few people in the village who were alive wanted to fight the pirates. But morale is not getting because there is no qualified leader. I could not leave those helpless and frightened people. Arming and mobilizing them, I started the fight against the pirates. I fought hard and chased the pirates away from the village forever. Still there was a lot of work. I was delayed for some time in completing the work of treating the wounded, rehabilitating widows and children. In the pressure of work, I forgot all about the gift, about the princess. Suddenly, one day I saw the moon in the sky, and remembered the full moon. So I came to apologize. Forgive me, Sultan. The old king was overwhelmed to hear the young man's words. When he looked up, his vision was blurred by tears. The eyes of the princess were also watery. The Sultan called Prince Sabit to him. He held one of the prince's hands and said with a smile, "Although this great prince did not bring a gift for the princess, there are many priceless signs of public service in this hand. I will hand over my daughter. This great-hearted, benevolent youth will be a worthy ruler of my kingdom." Dear audience, the story wants to make us understand that a daughter should be married not by wealth, power and influence, but by a character. Marriage is a very important aspect of life. Money is needed for living. However, neither money nor wealth is the source of all happiness in life. There is no happiness in the world if you give a daughter to an unworthy man. So we have to think carefully and select honest and worthy person for marriage.